Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Ross Johnston. The Cowboys and Eagles kicked off the 2025 NFL season last night in Philly with the defending champs taking the victory 24-20 over Dallas after lightning delayed the game for nearly an hour. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts ran for 2 scores to go along with a Saquon Barkley touchdown that put them over the top. Also, Eagles defensive tackle Jalen Carter was ejected prior to the first snap of the game for spitting on Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. No news has come out about any further punishment for Carter, but suspension is expected. The Super Bowl runner-up Kansas City Chiefs take on the Chargers tonight in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with kickoff set for 7 p.m. and streaming on YouTube exclusively. You can also listen to Westwood One's coverage of it here on The Zone. In NFL news, Patriots corner Christian Gonzalez has been ruled out for Sunday's game versus the Raiders with a hamstring injury. Rookie left tackle Will Campbell is also listed as questionable. And finally, in Titans news, head coach Brian Callahan has said the following on statuses for Week 1 in Denver. Corner L'Jarius Sneed and running back Khalil Mullins are questionable. Safety Kevin Winston Jr. is doubtful, and left tackle Dan Moore Jr. is good to go for Sunday. Callahan also says Sneed's conditioning is not fully ramped up, so he is expected to be on a snap count if he suits up in Denver. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Store. 615-737-1045 is the number. Got Titans game to preview. We got a game last night we need to talk about. We'll also go around the NFL with Jordan DeJaney. But first, let's go into some quick health updates, because yesterday we opened up the show talking about Dan Moore's availability. Later yesterday, he was deemed a full participant. Today, it was said Dan Moore Jr. by Brian Callahan. Dan Moore Jr. will play on Sunday. Kevin Winston Jr., future Defensive Rookie of the Year for the Tennessee Titans, will be listed as doubtful. L'Jarius Sneed and Khalil Mullins will be listed as questionable. Brian Callahan also said that L'Jarius Sneed has worked on his conditioning. It hasn't been a different plan considering the altitude, but he's not in shape to play 70-plus snaps. It'll be a managed situation if Sneed plays. Now, L'Jarius Sneed is in the locker room, and he says he feels good about this weekend. He feels good conditioning-wise, and said he wore his hoodie under his jersey to make sure he got a good sweat to get ready for the altitude in Denver. That's from Teron Davenport. Obviously, L'Jarius Sneed, we have talked about it all offseason, is a pretty important part for this defense, because he is a guy that has a history, even if we haven't seen it with the Tennessee Titans, has a history of being able to erase the side of the field for your defense. He can help your pass rush, and then Lord knows this particular Tennessee Titans pass rush needs all the help it can get. So at the end of the day, that doesn't really sound like a very strong vote of confidence that L'Jarius Sneed is going to be as big of a factor as the Tennessee Titans defense may have needed him to be come Sunday in Denver. What are your thoughts, Blaine, after hearing all that?
Well, I mean, right now you got to count him out. I mean, this when they start talking about he may only play a certain amount of plays and things of that nature, that means he may not play at all.
Right.
So I got to look at it. So
game time decision, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, because if I'm out on the field, I'm the safety, I got to know that probably the likelihood of that happening is not. If he does, great. But then will he be up to par of the Sneed of old? Probably not. So why not just go with the other person?
Yeah.
So, I get it. But maybe they get his feet wet, maybe get some snaps, see how he does in movement and some live action. I think that'll be valuable, and let it kind of play itself out, play it by ear and what his body's telling him and what his, shape, what kind of shape he's in. At altitude, a lot of people say it's not a factor, and some people say it is. And naturally, I think it affects the carry of the football. Mm-hmm. I think the altitude, depending on if your team is in shape, first game, so you always think that game shape is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Not in game shape, maybe till after a first quarter. I think if it's a physical game and the defense is out there a long time, a good example of this is come fourth quarter, you'll see at some point some guys kind of tapping out like, hey, I need to take a break.
Yeah.
And like come fourth quarter. So it impacts players to a certain extent. Just I don't know which players it will impact, especially the first game. I tell you one thing. Every season I could be in tip-top shape, but going into the first game shape of an actual game, it literally would take me about a good quarter and a half to feel like, okay, I got my win. I'm ready to rock and roll. Now I can just fly around like never before.
Yeah.
You go back and watch tapes. I'm sure you will.
I'm going to go watch every first game.
Yeah, so you make sure you knew who I was. I don't know if you really knew who I was, but yeah, that's how it would work. It was no mercy. When the tape comes on, I'm going to stand out.
Yeah.
And that was majority of my career.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't think you know.
Oh, I know. I mean, hey, listen, I may look. I think people think I'm way younger than what I am.
I know. You look so young.
I mean, that's what people. I had people say that I don't
trying
remember.
To figure out who's younger, you or Ross. I don't know.
I had people in here in the chat a couple of days ago saying I don't remember the Mike Shula eras, buddy. I was in college for Mike Shula. I'm a lot older than what you think I am.
Oh, Mike Shula, man, he was not so good.
Yeah. That has been a little bit of a topic, altitude.
Yeah, the altitude.
I feel like that does give Denver, because we're talking about first game.
Yes.
Okay. That should give Denver the advantage, right? Because they've been training, playing, practicing in the high altitude. Now, I kind of agree with you. It's almost like a player-by-player case, right? Yeah. Because it's the same with the Heat. The Heat doesn't affect everybody. But some guys it does come the fourth quarter.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's really hard to say, it's a distinct advantage for a whole unit, for at least the opponents. Some guys, Cam Ward says, I've played in Colorado before, blah, blah, blah. Didn't bother him at all. Now, again, this is NFL, not college, but still, the altitude's altitude, right? But you remember last year, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. was one of the guys that brought up the Heat in one of those games. I can't remember which game it was, but he's like, the Heat got to us or something like that.
It was the cold versus the Commanders. He said
it was the cold versus the Commanders? Oh, I thought it was Heat.
And it was like upper 40s too, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. It wasn't that cold. And he was talking about the cold.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I got my climates mixed up.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it's what Ross just said too.
Yeah.
So but not everybody's going to be affected by the cold, right? Like, not every player is going to have the same effect. Everybody's bodies are different. So it will
now
be.
My earpiece works.
Oh, there you go. You didn't blow out your ear, did you?
Man. I was wondering why it wasn't working. I was over here jiggling it.
Clip that one off.
Right. Ross, man, make sure you get that, man. We got to use that for a commercial.
It's a promo right there.
There you go. But it is interesting because I think expecting this from L'Jarius Sneed in game one was the proper expectation. I mean, I know everybody wanted him to be out there full go, but as the offseason wore on and the more and more he wasn't at a practice, you kind of knew this was turning in that direction. But I do agree with you in the sense that, okay, he can't play 70-plus snaps. Fully understand. Get his feet wet. But if you're a Titans fan or a defense, don't expect much because he is a little bit out of shape. And now listen, remember he said that he was in the best shape he's ever been, or he's been in his life or whatever. Yeah, whatever it was.
I don't know. Yeah, he was wrong on that. Here's the question. Do you start him? Do you start him or do you implement him in periodically?
I would implement him in, right? Because I think I want him to be the rotational guy. The reason being is because I want my other guy to be in the rhythm. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think if we had more insight on how healthy he was, I think then I could have a good opinion. I would want him to start off. Here's why. Because I don't know if he's going to even play besides his first series.
No, that's true. I mean,
because I don't know how healthy he is. I know he's probably not in game shape or, he hadn't been, even playing in preseason. So get him out there. When he's warmed up, he's juiced up. Hopefully then that'll get his mental confidence where it needs to be with his knee. Yeah. And then maybe he plays more plays than we expect. even though I'm still going to rotate him in and out. I just don't like the fact of rotating in and out, especially with an injured player. So then you got him standing there on the sideline for a long period of time, and then he's coming in with a knee injury that needs to be lathered up and warmed up. So when he gets lathered and warmed up, I want him out there. And then, hey, man, you may come and sit for a while. Unfortunately, that may hurt the guy who's rotating with him, but that's just,
Okay, so let's add an extra layer to this question. Coach Mack on our show on Tuesday said that the first 15 games, scripted plays, the first 15 plays of Sean Payton is some of the most important for Sean Payton's offense. Right. Does that affect your answer in whether you'd play L'Jarius Sneed or not?
Nothing about what they do has anything to do with an injured player. No, not at all. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I want to see now. He may get taken out after 5 plays. Yeah, it had nothing to do with that. Maybe he just can't go. But I want him out there more so about he's already warmed up. So let's get him moving around now. Don't wait till he's standing for a period of time. And now we're talking about let's go warm up. Like I can imagine sitting on a bench like NBA guys, and they sit there and now you see them have heat warmers on their back, on their hamstrings while they're sitting there waiting to play. Then all of a sudden they say, "Go, you sit down for 30 minutes."
I wonder if the risk of injury increases the longer you sit out if you're coming off an injury.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good point.
That would be. I don't know any way to measure that, but I do wonder now that you say that, keeping the body warm, keeping the muscles warm.
Just get him out there now. He's warmed up, and then once he comes to the sideline, he may not go back out there.
Test it per drive, every few drives. I get what you're saying now.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, not knowing how really healthy he is. Now, I like your idea. If I felt like, hey, man, this guy can go, we just got to get him in shape.
Yeah.
Then I'm probably going with your deal. We got to start with the guy because I don't know where you're going to be. Yeah. So I got to go, he's the guy.
Test it out. Because you never know. Maybe he starts feeling good, right?
I don't know. Ross, what would you do, man?
Well, I was going to ask y'all, say he plays 15, 20 plays, somewhere in that range. Would you want him or expect him to travel with Sutton at all? Or would you not, given his health status?
So you're going to ask a guy that you don't know if it's even going to be available to travel.
But that's what you're paying him to do as well.
No, but he's not ready yet. All right,
we don't know that.
That's like putting you on,
that's like putting you on air,
and we don't know if you're ready yet. I'm just kidding.
He should be able to play 15 plays though.
Oh no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm not game planning with him. Yeah, because then guess what? If we've done that all week, and then all of a sudden he can't go.
And what he's saying is then you would have to trust Darrell Baker Jr. to do that.
Right, yeah.
And do you trust Darrell Baker Jr. to, if anything, you would have Jarvis Brownlee Jr. be the guy that shadows Cortland Sutton because he's going to be playing the whole game.
Yeah,
I think that's what Blaine's trying to say, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that I wouldn't be game planning anything with a player who's coming off an injury, didn't play in any time in the preseason. Yeah, now as the season goes along, and once he starts multiple games and shows that he's healthy, now let's use Sneed for what we're paying him for. Let's go match up. But the first game, man, that's a tough task to be asking somebody to do who's not even sure if they can play a whole game. I just.
Well, the thing, too, is, and I don't want to jump ahead, but we got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams coming here next week. You're
that's
to get
true.
ready at some point.
I mean, it's not going to be tough. I mean,
it's the NFL, man. I just think I don't even think they're going to do it there either.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if L'Jarius Sneed, from what we saw last year, I don't know if L'Jarius Sneed's shadow guy right now.
No, I don't.
And so when you don't have that, I don't think you should try to force it. Because we saw this team try to force certain different other philosophies last year, and it backfired in their face. They were going to force the blitz on Malik Willis, certain situations like that. To me, it's just like, okay, you got Jarvis Brownlee Jr., if you feel the need to do where you have a guy travel with one of their receivers, I mean, it's probably Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and Cortland Sutton. But in the sense, against this team, I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would try to force the issue of having a guy. Cortland Sutton to me is kind of like in that Calvin Ridley tier. Mm-hmm. He's good. But he's not wide receiver one good, in my opinion. Now, I mean, I don't know how Denard Wilson and them think, but that's how I think.
Well, first of all, you can only control what you can control, and that's the defense. And I'm playing, hey, you play your sides in this game. There's nobody. We don't have any elite player right now at this point. Sneed's supposed to be the guy, but he hasn't even proven it and played in a game. So that's null and void. They better play their sides. maybe as the game goes along, and if Snead is feeling really good, I think I would consider it if one of the guys are, toasting us. But
Right.
other than that, nah.
And it's not like, when it comes to Cortland Sutton, again, it's just they have a lot of different kind of wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have a guy that can do kind of everything and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And so for me, it's like I'm not too worried about the man part of it, or the shadow part of it. I'm just not as worried about for this particular team.
I know that's a big thing. Watch this. How many times did Snead do this last year when he did play in 6 games? Yep, 0. So now we're asking an injured Snead to do this. See, this is where coaches then make dumb decisions. You go, why did they do that? He hadn't played since the 6th game of last year. I mean,
he only shadowed 42.6%.
Hadn't even played in the preseason game to show that he's fully healthy. No, that's not even a consideration.
In the rate that he shadowed wide receivers last year, it was 42.6%, which is 187th out of all the cornerbacks that did it.
No.
So that's not a really high rate of shadowing. Now, obviously, probably, I guess, slot corners are probably factored in this, and, they're always in the slot. But at the same time, I just don't think that he was a guy last year that they used to shadow. In 2023, he was the shadow guy. He was number 3 in the NFL, 56.1%. Now, you could say this is maybe a scheme issue, or maybe they knew, okay, L'Jarius Snead in our scheme is not going to be that man guy, at least through the first 5 games. And because that's the only games he played was the first 5 games. So it will be interesting to see, but Cortland Sutton is not a guy that really moves into the slot. He doesn't really move around a lot. They do put him in the slot, don't get me wrong, but it's a low slot rate. So.
I think it is a good matchup with Snead and Finnegan. Cortland Sutton is because, I said Cortland Finnegan, but Sutton is because of their length. And Snead has long arms. It is a good matchup. But no, I'm playing sides. And by the way, I did talk to somebody. They said they would be shocked in Denver of anybody matching up with anybody until after the game. That he says based off how they're practicing, he doesn't see that at all matching up with Ridley.
Oh yeah,
yeah, so did I. He said, well, they will not be doing that. And I said I didn't think they viewed him like that because you just said exactly what reminded me. You said Cortland Sutton is just not a real number 1. He's a 1B guy. Well, that's what Calvin Ridley is. So you don't game plan for those guys unless all of a sudden they get hot. Yeah. And then you go, oh, man, wait, we got to address this. So that he said he'd be shocked.
Yeah. Let's go to Chuck real quick in Clarksville. Chuck, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, Zach. My only point is Snead has played against Sutton at least 6 or 8 times in his career. He knows him. He'll know how to adjust his game to play him. So I'm not worried about him going up against Cortland Sutton. He knows him. Yep. That's my only point.
I mean, that's
very
not a bad point.
Right there. Yeah.
That's not a bad point. Well, listen, we'll pick this conversation up because we're going to take a stop and go around the NFL with Jordan DeJaney, and I'll actually look all that up with L'Jarius Snead and Cortland Sutton also during the Jordan DeJaney break. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. And we're going to go around the NFL with Jordan DeJaney. And Jordan DeJaney, starting off the NFL regular season hot with the tip of the week, who I try to tell anybody that would listen, take Cowboys at 8.5 because they're going to cover the spread, and tell everybody why that was such a good pick.
We did it, baby. We're 1-0 on the NFL season. That's right. You know, I found a great stat from CBS Sports Research that teams favored by 6 or more points in week 1 following a Super Bowl appearance are 2-10 against the spread over the last 20 years. I looked at that line of 8.5 points, and I thought it was a direct reaction from the Micah Parsons trade. Not that I think the Cowboys are as good of a team as the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, but I was expecting a very sloppy game without a lot of points, and that the Cowboys were going to be able to keep it close, and that's exactly what happened.
There you go. What do you think of Spitgate? Where do you land on Dak Prescott spits on the field, Jalen Carter spits on him? Where do you land on that whole situation?
Where I land is it was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I mean, the entire world is watching you as you kick off the NFL season, right? You're celebrating a Super Bowl championship in front of your fans in prime time, and before the first snap of the game, you spit on the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys in front of everyone. That was mind-blowing, and it was just one of the more crazy things we saw from a crazy Week 1 matchup. But, you know, NBC did a great job giving both sides of the stories. Coming back from that lightning delay, we saw that Dak Prescott did spit in the direction of Jalen Carter, although it was on the grounds. And I thought, looking at the cameras, you know, Dak kind of gave Jalen a smile and a head nod, and that's clearly why Jalen was so upset. But the bottom line is you cannot respond the way that Jalen Carter did. He is one of the most important members of that Eagles defense, and I feel like they missed him last night.
The Amari Cooper pulled a Sadiq Charles or Lorenzo Carter of the Tennessee Titans on the Raiders. He retired on the cusp of the 2025 season just a few days before the start of the regular season. What is your thoughts on this whole Amari Cooper thing? Is this just a, hey, I got out here, I tried, I don't think I got it anymore kind of deal?
Yeah, Amari Cooper pulled the Titans. Is that the way we're putting it, right? He retired early. He signed a 1-year deal with the team that selected him in the first round just over a week ago. So it was surprising to see that he announced just 3 days before the Raiders season opener against New England that he no longer intends to play and is going to retire. But I will say that I don't think Amari Cooper was a player the Raiders looked at as an immediate starter to make an immediate impact for this team, but he was kind of that veteran presence for a younger room that really needed it. So more pressure is going to be put on Jacoby Myers, who, by the way, requested a trade just over a week ago. It doesn't look like that's going to come to fruition. More pressure is going to be on Dante Thornton, the speedster from Tennessee, Jack Besh from TCU, Trey Tucker, the former third-round pick out of Cincinnati. So I think that the Raiders wide receivers room in general is a big question mark, but don't forget that Geno Smith has one of the best young tight ends we've seen in Brock Bowers to throw to as well.
With Micah Parsons, obviously with the Green Bay Packers, what did you see from last night against the Cowboys and Eagles? Do you feel that they really missed Micah Parsons, or do you think that, hey, they played a different style of defense where they were just trying to keep everything in front of them as much as possible?
You hit it right there. I think it was interesting because I feel like the Cowboys' defensive line in general played really well when it came to keeping everything in front of them and applying pressure at necessary moments. But it's not like they had incredible pressure coming from the outside edge, which was to be expected with the loss of Micah Parsons. I think this Cowboys defense came out extremely motivated, ready to make a statement that they don't need Micah Parsons to be a legitimate contender. I was impressed with the play overall, but at the same time, I do think they were lacking when it came to applying pressure from the outside.
We're going around the NFL with Jordan DeJaney of CBS Sports.
Well, Jordan, naturally, you've got to talk about Cam Ward and going into Denver. But I wanted to know, you were throwing out some stats and numbers. I'm going to catch you off guard here. But what are the numbers, whether on the road or at home, or is there any distinction between the two, of the number one pick being a quarterback, their record in their first NFL game?
So the last 16 quarterbacks selected number 1 overall are 1, 14, and 1 in their first career start. The only player, and get this, the only number 1 overall pick quarterback to win his first game,
Caleb Williams last year.
Caleb Williams against the Tennessee Titans. Exactly
no,
right.
that's right.
Exactly right.
Dang. So with that being said, what miracle can the Titans do to win this game? I mean, and actually, has an underdog by this much also won outright. Like, man, there's a lot of ways you can go in here on the gambling side of this, right?
Right. And it's tied for being the largest spread on the board. Maybe it came down a little bit. I haven't checked just in the morning. But I will say, like, with the Broncos, I feel like the spread is warranted. I mean, at face value, you have a number 1 overall rookie quarterback going up against the most aggressive defense from last season. A lot of hype around this team with Bo Nix, who had a case to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Keep in mind that the Broncos were also one of the best teams to bet on last year. They were 8-0 against the spread as a favorite in 2024. That's the most covers without an against the spread loss by a favorite by any team since 1970. And Bo Nix, by the way, I think he went 11-5-1 against the spread as a rookie, which was tied for the second best ATS record by a rookie since 1970. So there's a lot of things that point to why this line is so big for Denver. But with that being said, week 1 has been described as a liar before. It wouldn't surprise me to see Tennessee keep this game close. Now, if the Titans found a way to upset the Broncos in Denver, remember that whole storyline about Cam Ward being the least talked about number 1 overall pick in NFL draft history? If he was able to find a way to upset Denver, that narrative would quickly be extinguished, and we'd be talking about the Tennessee Titans entering week 2.
Oh, stay right wherever you're at right now because you sound like a robot there for a little bit. But we got the gist of most of all of that. We're on with Jordan DeJani, NFL writer for CBS Sports. And Jordan, you talked a little bit about, and you and Zach with the Spitgate, but give me a little bit about what do you think an article, hint, the punishment should be? Would they make a point of emphasis? And by the way, he basically didn't play the entire game. So does that apply as a 1-game suspension? He didn't play it down. And does that take him into the next game? Will they find him? Will they make him go in the community? Will they make him go get counseling? I don't know, but perception is reality, and they want to show sportsmanship. What do you think is going to happen with this?
Right. Do you guys have me now? Do I still sound like an AI robot?
Got you. Good.
Okay, perfect. So it's interesting you asked. So he's clearly going to be subject to a massive, massive fine from the NFL. When it comes down to a potential suspension, I absolutely think that's in the cards because we've only seen 1 game so far this season, but the NFL's put a clear emphasis on sportsmanship, right? We saw a taunting call that was questionable last night with, I think it was Nolan Smith talking trash to Miles Sanders when he was on the ground. So I think that if the NFL wants to continue to put an emphasis on sportsmanship, doing something like spitting on an opposing player before the first snap of the game, I think a suspension of 1 game or so is absolutely in the cards.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, on this whole topic, do you think it's more painful for a player? Because it made me think about, okay, man, dang, for him to go in the locker room and sit there and wait all the entire game? Or do you make him stand on the sideline and watch his teammates go play who he let down?
Oh, man, that's a question for you, to be honest with you. I feel like being in the locker room would make me sick.
Well, see, they always want to escort him out. I think they should make him stand there and suffer and watch.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a good point, too. I think it's just so ugly either way, right? It's got to be painful whether you're in the locker room by yourself and the training staff or whether you're on the sideline with your players. I will say if you're on the sideline with your players, even though it really hurts to not be able to play in the game, maybe you can offer encouragement or different things you're seeing from the sideline to try to give your Eagles a competitive advantage. That's the way I would spin it if I were Jalen Carter and I was able to be on the sideline.
I know there are a couple matchups you'll be interested in, but which one is your number one this weekend in the NFL? And I was thinking Steelers, who they play.
Steelers, Jets. Yeah, no, I think that might be one of the least entertaining games. I think it's going to be like a 13-10 final score. It's something I'm not going to be excited to watch. I mean, I think the clear answer is Baltimore Ravens at Buffalo Bills.
Revenge.
And this is an important game for a number of different reasons, but I feel like this game is so much more important for the Ravens than the Bills. Why? Because the Ravens will become the first team in NFL history to play 3 games in September versus teams that won at least 13 games the previous season. The Bills, on the other hand, they have an incredibly easy schedule this season. I think their path to the number 1 seed in the AFC is pretty clear. Like if Buffalo wins on Sunday night, they may not lose a game until November. I feel pretty confident in saying that. The Bills are stacked and their schedule is easy. But let's be real, it's week 1. I can make an entertaining case for any one of these matchups. I'm excited for Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars.
No.
I'm excited for Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons. I'm excited for Giants, Commanders, Bengals, Browns, Raiders, Patriots.
Okay.
It's week 1, baby. This is when we get to challenge our preconceived notions with reality. I'm all excited for it.
Well, give us your bold prediction. We had a little game yesterday. Who are you predicting in the Super Bowl and who wins it? I said Bills versus Green Bay, and I think I said Bills going to finally get over Snide. What you got?
Perfect. Yes, I get to announce my Super Bowl picks here live, 104.5 The Zone. Okay, out of the AFC, I have a team that is going to be extremely battle-tested, yet ready to get over the hump when the regular season's all said and done. That's going to be Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, finally knocking the Chiefs off their pedestal, getting to the Super Bowl. Coming out of the NFC is a team with an old quarterback but a young defense. The Los Angeles Rams are getting back to the big game. Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. That offense is loaded with weapons. If that offensive line can stay healthy and that defense can continue to build on the performance they had in 2024, the Rams are going to be a legitimate contender this season, with the Ravens winning the Super Bowl, by the way.
There you have it, Jordan DeJean.
Finally, Lamar Jackson finally getting that Super Bowl ring.
There you go.
What was going on with A.J. Brown last night? Because he only gets 1 target, and everybody wants to point the finger at Jalen Hurts, but then you see a couple of these fantasy point sites or these data sites and all this stuff say that he wasn't winning a route. He wasn't getting separation, this and that. Again, we kind of talked about it earlier, how they were playing their defense, keeping everything in front of them. Can't the team just have the defense schemed up something where they just took A.J. Brown out of the equation?
Hey, has he requested a trade yet? Like, is that coming down the line for A.J. Brown? I mean, I will say this. I haven't watched the film, and it's impossible to tell from just the TV copy if he was winning or losing his route tree, but it was really notable that he didn't have a single target until the second half. That's absolutely crazy for a Philadelphia Eagles offense that believes they have a top 3 wide receiver tandem and a top 5 wide receiver in general with A.J. Brown. That's not a game plan I want to abide by if I'm Philadelphia. In fact, I tweeted this. Sometimes it feels like the Eagles offense is a grandma driving a Ferrari, right? They're loaded at all these different spots, the best offensive line in the NFL, a dual threat quarterback, great wide receiver tandem, but it doesn't seem like they always utilize these weapons. So I will tell you, I'm really interested to go back and watch the film, see A.J. Brown's effort, maybe see how Trevon Diggs was playing him. But the bottom line is, even if the defense is scheming against you, that's just a typical Sunday or Thursday in the NFL. If you're legitimately a top 5 wide receiver, you're going to find a way to adjust and make an impact on that game. And clearly, A.J. Brown didn't do that last night, although Philadelphia was able to escape with a win.
All right, got to ask you a question. It's a little bit of college, a little bit of pro, but Bill Belichick over in North Carolina has decided that he's banning all Patriots personnel, scouts, and all this because of the way they allegedly treated him on his way out. Can he just stay out of the news? At this point, I just don't want to hear from Bill Belichick for a while.
Well, my big question is, and I don't want to be mean, but who are the scouts scouting at UNC? Like that's what it comes down to for me. I mean, it's the overreactions from week 1 in college football were crazy to me because I feel like we understood that Bill Belichick does not have a loaded roster. I guess a lot of people were hoping that maybe Bill Belichick had some Belichick magic and they could keep it close with TCU. But if you follow college football, you understand that they don't have a loaded roster. This is going to be a work in progress. UNC is not going to be some contender right now. So it kind of bothered me to see the overreaction the other way after the big blowout against TCU, where people are saying Bill Belichick stinks and he's lost his luster and all that. it's going to be a work in progress either way, if he's still got it or doesn't have it. But Bill Belichick, I think I agree with you. It would be really nice to stay out of the headlines. We've done a really good job over the past couple weeks with Jordan Hudson not being in the headlines. But yeah, if this report is true in terms of him banning scouts from practice, I don't know how much of a common practice that is in college football, but obviously it's not a very good look.
Who has more pressure on them to perform for the Green Bay Packers, Micah Parsons or Jordan Love?
Jordan Love. It's definitely Jordan Love, just specifically this year in 2025, because he's a quarterback that people have been trying to describe as a star in waiting for multiple seasons now. He signed a contract worth $55 million per year. The Packers drafted a first-round wide receiver for the first time in a long time with Matthew Golden. Now your franchise is aggressive and goes out and gets one of the best pass rushers in the NFL with Micah Parsons. The pressure is on Jordan Love, in my opinion, this season. The Detroit Lions are expected to take a step backwards with their incredibly tough schedule. The NFC North is up for grabs, in my opinion, and you need your quarterback to play his best ball to have a career year to clinch that division title. So I think there's pressure on Micah Parsons for sure following this exodus from Dallas, but I think more pressure is on the quarterback, Jordan Love.
Give us a sneaky MVP pick.
You know, it's tough because I don't really like to use my own money for a sneaky MVP pick. I'm trying to remember the last time we saw a really big surprise. It probably has to be one of these younger quarterbacks. I think that if I'm going really out on a limb, which is almost ridiculous for me to say on these airwaves, how about Trevor Lawrence at 4,500? If Liam Cohen can get him back on the right track, he's throwing to an offensive rookie or offensive player of the year sleeper, in my opinion, Brian Thomas Jr. He's got a stable of running backs who are not elite, but they're extremely capable. Travis Hunter, what's his impact going to be with this offense? If Liam Cohen is truly some kind of quarterback whisperer, maybe it's this season when Trevor Lawrence can start to live up to that contract. But again, winning an MVP over guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts is going to be pretty tough. Maybe the sleeper is actually Jordan Love. Who knows?
Well, JD, one more in Titan-centric here. What would you consider an acceptable performance by the Tennessee Titans versus the Denver Broncos?
I would say covering the spread would be a great start. If you keep the game close and you lose by 7, that would be acceptable in my opinion. But when it comes to what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, I think it's very subjective because if Cameron Ward can come out there and play turnover-free football, and the offensive line can keep him clean for the majority of the afternoon, that would be a win in my opinion. If we could see other weapons other than Calvin Ridley make a legitimate impact on this game, that would be a win in my opinion. If this defense can keep Bo Nix in terms of trying to stop him from getting outside the pocket and making throws downfield to Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin, that would be acceptable in my opinion. So I want to see this defense play above their pay grade. I want to see the offense be better than expected. And even if they lose, I feel like there's a way where the Titans fans can step away from week 1 and say, I'm really excited with what I saw.
Absolutely. Well said.
There you go. That's Jordan DeJaney of CBS Sports, and we went around the NFL with him. Jordan, enjoy week 1.
I will. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate y'all.
No problem. When we come back, we'll talk more about L'Jarius Sneed versus Cortland Sutton and the Denver Broncos versus Tennessee Titans. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Parents, when your teen athletes get injured, every practice miss matters. So don't let an injury sideline you for the season or your dreams. Introducing the Edge Athlete Recovery Program, a 2-month, twice daily sublingual peptide protocol designed to help your athlete heal faster, recover stronger, and get back on the field safely. Our science-backed peptides, BPC 157 and TB 500, support muscle, tendon, and ligament repair with no needles, no downtime, and no hassle. Safe for teens, non-GMO, gluten-free, and easy to take home. Optional add-ons include M-Scope, functional sessions, and regenerative orthopedic treatments to accelerate recovery even more. So don't wait. Give your athlete the best shot at a full return to sports. All you have to do is just call Edge Peptide Therapy at 615-724-1878, or you can visit them at edgepeptide.com to schedule an office consultation today. Edge Peptide Therapy knows every game, every practice, and every dream matters.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. I hope that was edited. I mean, like, I hope it was radio safe.
Yeah. Ross is back there. We don't know what's going on, man.
It's
on him.
Got a little. I didn't realize that there was actually lyrics with this Lil Wayne, so I just hope it was all radio safe.
He only shows the pearly whites too, man. He's just like cheesy. Yeah.
I love Weezy F, baby.
Yeah, hey, I love me some Lil Wayne. Okay, the last two times that L'Jarius Sneed and Cortland Sutton have faced off in the same game, because you got to remember there are games that L'Jarius Sneed has missed and games that Cortland Sutton has missed. The very last one, which was also Sean Payton's first year as head coach, was 1 of 2 for 23 yards when L'Jarius Sneed was on Cortland Sutton. So 1 catch for 23ry yards. So,
how many times was he on him?
Well, from the way it looks, pretty much the whole game. There was a time where Jalen Watson was on him once, was on Cortland Sutton once, and he allowed 6 yards and a touchdown off that 6 yards. Oh. So that seems like maybe in the end zone or the red zone, they switched it up a little bit.
It stayed size probably.
And then it was 2 for 2 for 18 yards in 2023, the last game of 2023. So their last matchup. So, I mean, L'Jarius Sneed done pretty well against Cortland Sutton, but again, this is a different L'Jarius Sneed. We all need to wrap our heads around that. We've done a pretty good job, I think, of trying to lay that expectation out that we didn't see that Kansas City L'Jarius Sneed last year. No. We don't know what kind of L'Jarius Sneed we're going to see this year. Now,
That's why I was getting excited when he said that. I was like, you talk like that, that means you know you're back.
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't showed up yet. I don't know. He's not even practicing.
Right. So that's the thing is, like, I know what he thinks he is, but there's sometimes your mind and your body don't work in conjunction with each other.
Oh, man. I wouldn't have been saying that after I tore my Liz Frank to my foot.
Yeah.
My last shoe was tight. I'm back better than before. No. I was like, man, I sure hope this works out that I can just plant break like I used to.
Right.
You know, you're thinking that in your head. You're believing that you will be, but until you do it, will you be confident that you can do it over and over again?
And to be fair, Devon Hughes also brings up, talking about Cortland Sutton and L'Jarius Sneed, that was Russell Wilson at the helm.
Oh, my.
And not Bo Nix. And Bo Nix gets a lot of slander from Titans fans, and I don't know why.
Oh, that's because he was at Auburn.
I mean, I guess there must be some Auburn hate left over and stuff, but I mean, Bo Nix is pretty good quarterback.
Not the same player they were he's in the pros. They actually threw shade at Auburn, saying when he went to Oregon let him call all checks and make changes of the plays at the line of scrimmage.
I heard that's the first time yesterday I heard
let him do that at Auburn, and maybe that is maybe why they had some failures there.
Yeah.
I said they, not just him. That was
I heard that same thing just recently. That would have changed, I think. I never heard that through the pre-draft process, which I thought was very interesting.
This is why Sean Payton drafted him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is what I hear.
Yeah.
And so I was like, So that's why he liked him so much. Because, he was, before he went to Oregon, I mean, people were trying to write him off. I mean, like, really?
Well, we talked about it a couple of days ago in that Athletic article, and a lot of that Athletic article at the very end of it talks about the things that all these ex-quarterbacks or ex-coaches say that they are looking for in a quarterback. And when you start listing off all that stuff and put it together, specifically being able to call your own protections at the line in college, Bo Nix was a lot more ahead of the curve than everybody really gave him credit for in the pre-draft process. Now, I know that he had his supporters, but at the end of the day, nobody had him at QB1, rightfully so. I don't think he showed QB1, but I think what that class last year specifically showed, that's what a loaded quarterback class looks like. You know, everybody thought the C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis was a loaded class. Remember the Trevor Lawrence was a loaded class. Last year was a true loaded class, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of class. The last class I can think of that really comes close is the Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Aaron Rodgers class. That was all the same class,
what do you think about
right?
this? Yeah, the class before this one. But what do you think about the upcoming class? You already got it down. I know you already taking notes. So you got like 5 of them.
I mean, there's a few there, but I don't know. I have
are you scared
more to
say?
see. Well, I was a big Lenore Sellers fan. You know that. So, but I got to see more, right? Like, I saw a good showing, a good start.
Yeah.
Kate Klubnik, who I do like, bad start.
It
Garrett
was
Nussmeier, who
okay.
I don't really like, very good start.
Right.
So, got to see more. Fernando Mendoza, he started off hot, and then they barely beat Old Dominion. And so, there's a lot I still got to see, a lot of unanswered questions in week one about this class.
Ross said he got a guy.
But I will say right now, I would say my statement last year saying that, and I didn't even mention Drew Aller, who actually had a pretty good game, is that, okay, you got a lot of guys. This is why you can't do it a year in advance, because everybody's like, well, Cam Ward would be like the 5th best quarterback in next year's draft. Talking about this particular
Beck.
Yeah, and Beck looked good. And
everybody's still thinking about Georgia. Hey, he looked different in the
And let me say something. Let's go back to Bo Nix and compare him to Carson Beck.
Because that's what they said with Beck. He's making his own calls now, and he couldn't do it at Georgia.
So maybe there is a little bit more to Carson Beck as a prospect than we initially thought last year, because he went to a system allowing him more freedom. So, it's no perfect science, but if you really start putting in stuff in a column, and Matt Hasselbeck talked about, he was on the sidelines for one of the combines as an analyst or whatever, and he said you can see the difference between a scout watching a quarterback throw at the combine and a coach watching a quarterback throw at the combine, because a scout will say, do you see how far that ball traveled? Do you see it whip out of his hand?
Velocity.
The coach at the same time is saying, interception, sack, interception. He held onto the ball too long. And that's why quarterbacks, it's just such a
Well, they just looking at
crapshoot.
their traits.
Yeah. It's going to be real interesting. I'm really, fortunately, I guess I should say, the Tennessee Titans have a quarterback, but I am still excited to watch this quarterback draft class, see how it all pans out, because I think that Carson Beck could have a very much a Bo Nix kind of situation building here. We have to see it consistently, but looking pretty good so far. Yeah. There you go. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about big picture takeaways with Tennessee Titans versus Denver Broncos, because there's a few paths to victory for the Titans, but not a lot of them. We're just going to talk about this game and break it all down for you. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. All right, I came up with the poll question because we've been talking about maybe poll questions and stuff for this, and this is also could be caller participation. 615-737-1045. What % chance do you actually give the Titans to win this game on Sunday?
Oh, that's a poll question.
What do you think about that? We'll do 0 to 10%. We'll do 20 to 40, 50 to 70, 70 to 100. What do you think about that? Or split it up like something like that because you only get 4
Chances
choices.
to win.
Chances to win. Like, I mean, because for me, I'm very, and I get it.
What, they 8 points, 8.5? What is it?
Yeah, 8.5 right now. And I get like there's been a lot of talk about the Denver Broncos this week on this station. But we're trying to keep it real for you because, I mean, do you want us to come in here and lie to you and say, well, the Titans are, I mean, I can't believe that it's 8.5. It's the Tennessee Titans and blah, 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 blah. Like, I mean, what % do you actually give this team to go into Denver with a rookie quarterback, first game of the year where you don't have a cornerback 1, you have a wide receiver 1 who's really a wide receiver 2, and he's your only threatening pass catcher for a defense that was best in the league, led the league in sacks, passes defended, had 3 pick sixes last year, and they're and they have 2 experienced head coaches or 2 experienced play callers on both sides. They have an offensive line that allowed their quarterback to be pressured the 3rd least amount of time on dropbacks. The Tennessee Titans, have no pass rush. So, like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand what fans are really expecting from this week. And let me say something. It's probably going to be a little bit more of the same next week because the Rams present a totally different set of challenges for this team. So, like, what do you give this team realistically a chance to win?
What's the poll question? What's going to be the divide of the percentages? Do we know?
I did 0 to 10, 10 to 40, 40 to 70, 70 to 100.
Oh.
I think that's it because you can only do 4, so I figured that would be.
I'm gonna go with 4 to 70. 40 to 70.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 4
well,
to
now I'm gonna have to ask why.
Well, because watch this. Anything's possible.
You're giving it the Kevin Garnett treatment, huh?
Well, these first games of across the NFL are kind of wacky, man, and you just don't know. And I'm hoping the Titans have the shot. I mean, it's 50-50 in any game to me. You're talking about the best athletes in sports as far as the NFL. And if a guy doesn't have his A game or he's partly injured or you got backups at linebacker, which they'll probably have, make misassignments, and we take advantage of it. Those things can all happen. What if we start off fast? I really believe this is the only way we're going to have a real shot. We start off fast, maybe some turnover, pick six, or run back a kick, or some big play on offense, and then then it's an even level playing field. Now they're chasing, and then it becomes a game. All right, so it can happen. That's why any NFL, that's why a team that's 3 and whatever can beat a team that was 12-3. That's how that happens in the National Football League. Every team has capable playmakers. This is about, are they all working in unison, and do we have enough talent to overtake them? Some very talented players. So that's why sometimes looking at the record doesn't matter. I know we're going to look back. I mean, what happened last year is what happened last year, whether it's the Titans or them. We have to see the Denver Broncos are the number 1 defense in the NFL again. Can they be? I don't know. It looks like they have a lot of pieces. And
it is hard to do.
Right. I mean, so that's not saying they can't, but maybe they're not on top of their game. And then we find ways to take advantage of some of their mishaps. You just don't know, man. Ball security could be huge in this game, first game. You just don't know. Watch this. CeeDee Lamb is one of the best wide receivers, top 5. Why did he drop the ball so many times?
Man, that is insane. Four drops.
If he would have caught them, all of them, let's say just 3 of them, do you think the Cowboys would have won the game?
Yeah,
See?
for sure.
Right. And everybody knows that the Eagles was going to win the game, right? But nobody knows in sports, especially a team-oriented sport like football. So, man, it's those critical plays that can determine if you win or lose these games. So I'm going to give it a 50-50 every game. Like that's just, I think that's the player in me. I know we don't have the talent quite as much as the Broncos or most teams, but you may catch them slipping this first game. They may not. You may catch Surtain. He may slip on a banana peel, and then
let's throw some out there.
It may just he could slip on a turf, or
right.
Just something can happen. All of a sudden, Calvin Ridley's running wide open, and we find him, and then boom, 10-0, and then now it's a ball game. Now their booty's gonna get tight.
Well, I will say this. When you look at the Broncos offense, it was explosive in a lot of games, but there's a lot of games Not in the beginning. There's not a lot of there's a lot of games on their thing where they weren't so good. So let's talk about opening drive. Okay, so the opening drive, the Denver Broncos punted 41% of the time on their opening drives. The Titans last year punted 52.9% opening drive, so call it 53%. Now, 3 and outs and opening drives are a little bit different, but that's one thing that we talked about with Cam Ward that nobody was really talking about until you brought it up. 5 of his 7 drives were 3 and outs.
Yeah.
And if you cannot afford that if you're the Tennessee Titans.
That's in quotations. Preseason. It's preseason.
So, and it was a totally different scenario in college for him. I think it was like over 70% of his passes went for like first downs and touchdowns or something crazy like that. It was an insane number. But at the end of the day, this is the pros, and this is the pros now against good defenses. And this Tennessee Titans team is a team that last year had the 11th most 3 and outs. 43 3 and outs last year.
Oh.
And to be honest, I thought that was a little low. I thought they would be higher up on the list. You know who was higher on the list? The Broncos.
No.
They had 51 3 and outs, 51 plays that ended in a punt after 3 plays. And that was second most in the league. Now, the Broncos forced 44 3 and outs for 5th most. Titans forced 41 at 8th most. Now, to be fair, there's a lot of times where a team like in the Detroit game, they got it on second down, scored touchdown, got it on first down, scored touchdown, but they did force some 3 and outs. Now, that's not 3 and out rate. That's just total number. So I'm sure the rates would paint a different picture.
Well, how did the Broncos end up being so highly ranked on defense?
Well, I mean, they were the 5th most on defense. But see, on offense, they had the 2nd most. So that was the part of having a rookie quarterback with Bo Nix. And to your point earlier this week, you were talking about how the the Denver Broncos loved to pass it, not necessarily love to run it. And not being able to run and is kind of probably is why that number was high up there. Of course, they also ran a high number of plays as well, but still, it's all about these 3 and outs because this is a team, the Tennessee Titans team. You said it is in any given Sunday league, and it's a team that we know is not as talented as the team across from them. Well, I just watched a team that was not as talented as the team across from them, and they pooped their pants in Tallahassee, and that was Alabama versus Florida State. So, yes, it can happen. And I think that when you're a team like that, especially in the first game, this is a team that proved last year consistently. It was a terribly inconsistent team, but it was a team last year, the Tennessee Titans team, that proved that it couldn't win in the margins. It couldn't win because they had penalties. They were always losing the penalty battle. They were always using time of possession battle. They were always losing the turnover battle. You can't do that. They were going 3 and outs. They had drive stall out. If you can limit that stuff, okay, you have a competitive game on your hand. And that's what they've really been preaching all offseason. Keep it competitive. And I think the biggest picture takeaway, and we'll get into more, I guess, topics of the bigger picture takeaway, But one of the biggest picture takeaways for me, you were talking about it during the break. It was in my notes to actually talk about was, okay, we talk a lot about Sean Payton and Vance Joseph, but we're not talking a lot about Denard Wilson and Brian Callahan. And I think Brian Callahan and Denard Wilson are two of the bigger picture things that you should be watching in a win or a loss. How have they improved from last year? Because we have 17 games of them last year to compare this game to.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think I'm going to be looking at play calling on both sides of the ball, especially, as the head coach, just situational football, being much more prepared, the team being prepared. They have to execute, but just, I think he would have to admit he got overwhelmed a little bit with the play calling and then trying to run the team. I think now he's kind of balanced it out a little bit, and we'll see if he can do it in live action in a game. So that's the hard part. You can talk about it and prepare yourself all you want to. It's just like a player, and then when lights click on, you got to be ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna be real critical of like play calling, how they set up. I know the first 15 or so plays are scripted, but after that, and even defensively, because one thing that was apparent to me, and see, you just brought it out to me and reminded me, the Denver Broncos weren't an elite team, but guess what they had? They had an elite defense that complemented a rookie quarterback. And so that complements one another, and that eventually will lead to success down the road. All you got to do is just keep adding the pieces to offense, and then whatever's subtracted, add to the defense. Well, the Titans' defense wasn't elite like that. And I said that numerous times, and I knew eventually what they were doing was good, but it wasn't great. And that didn't complement a team that was, we could call it what you want, with Levis being a first-year starter and the deficit you had at tackle, at one of the tackle spots anyway. But so I just think, now they have those pieces. Will this get a better outcome? Doesn't mean you're going to win more games, but will the product look better? And look better means you're competitive and you're in every game. And that's what I'm actually really looking for. Their performance based off, are they in the game? Because if you get a takeaway and you lose by 5, 6 or a touchdown to the Denver Broncos, who's supposed to be, some Super Bowl type contending team, I think I would feel really good. Now, I'm not happy, but I'm like, okay, I see this team has potential. And with young players playing, they're going to get better every game. And then eventually, halfway through the season, we'll start saying, yeah, we're on the right track. We know we got our guy at quarterback. Now let's fill in the pieces.
Well, we're talking about complementary football. The Broncos last year were also not only an elite defense, top 10 special teams, maybe even higher than that. And where were the Tennessee Titans? Like, we've brought it up on this show numerous times. You got to win. To win it, have any chance at winning a game, you got to win 2 out of the 3 phases.
You can't be having no ding-dong penalties.
No. And see, that's the other thing is there is some correlation between preseason penalties and regular season penalties. Not enough that I would say that I feel comfortable saying that, okay, Tennessee Titans are going to be penalized less because it is preseason and it is different players. But I do see that most teams that tend to be on the lower side in the preseason do tend to be on the lower side in the regular season. Now, it's not a 100% hit rate, but again, penalties, right? Is this going to be a more disciplined team? You have more disciplined players. You told us that. That's what you've been telling us this whole time. You had an offseason program with it as well. Now it's time to see it in the action. And with Brian Callahan, Denard Wilson, I think that everybody in that building knows we can tell you all this stuff, but we're going to have to go out there and prove it. And we can't rest on and sit on our laurels of what we were able to show in preseason and training camp and, all that stuff. We got to show it to you guys. We got to give you tangible evidence that it happened. And what does tangible evidence of that happening look like in a loss? We'll talk about that. And coming up next, what you got, Ross, before we go?
The only thing I was going to say to touch on the penalties is I'm going to be very interested to see the operation of the offense because preseason, you don't really have to do silent count. Stadiums aren't that full. This is going to be a silent count all game unless you're under center. Also, Cam and Lloyd's reps together they've not put a lot of time in together. So how does the operation, quarterback, center, affect kind of the rest of the team on Sunday?
Good point. Well, there's more points we'll talk about when we come back. We're going to talk about the big picture stuff to take away from the Tennessee Titans team. Even if it's a loss, you still have stuff you can build on when you're going forward throughout the season. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
We're going to win.
Cover 2 with Blade Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. I got a little conspiracy theory for you, Blaine. Yesterday we were talking through the rules of the kickoff rules, where now the Broncos special teams coordinator, Darren Rizzi, was one of the main architects of this new kickoff rule where the touchback goes to the 35-yard line. Okay, he was one of the main guys. I looked at where the Broncos in all their wins, what the starting average field position was for their offense. And it was 34.8, which is just 0.2 yards shy of the new 35 touchback rule. Oh, just wondering if this was a little competitive advantage that they snuck in. Someone should have fact-checked before they allowed this rule.
I don't know about that one. I think they just liked his playing better. That's what he's going to say.
You know what the offense's average field position was in all their losses? 28.9. Oh. That's a pretty big difference for those that may not, I'm just saying, like 28.9.
Do we know the Titans?
Don't know the Titans. I was just looking at the Broncos because I was looking at their offense and defense. I'm trying to find some ways the Tennessee Titans can win this game. I'm trying to find something that I can communicate to you guys and say, this is how they win. So I'm going to start with one because we're talking about big pictures. Big picture takeaways. And I think this goes without saying, the offensive line is its own big picture takeaway. Even if the Titans don't win, if they're keeping Cam Ward up and he's not getting sacks against one of the best sack teams in the NFL, they had 63 sacks over 17 games.
Wow.
Then, okay, that is a good takeaway. May not win, but hey, that's something you can build upon. Dan Moore played the Denver Broncos at full health week 2 last year. In a win, he only allowed one quarterback hurry, 0 sacks. And again, 63 sacks out of 17 games. Not one of those sacks came from Dan Moore.
But what did they win?
They did. The Steelers did win.
Ooh, that's a good one there.
I like that. There's a little bit of positivity.
You know what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
That their front, when I watched them, I think they are good and I think they play hard. I don't think they're as exceptional as the numbers indicate. Here's why. The balance of their secondary and how good they are helps their D-line. And that works hand in hand, especially when you have Defensive Player of the Year, by the way, with Surtain. So I think they are really, really good. I don't think they are elite. Watch this. None of those guys are better than Von Miller in his prime. How many sacks did the Broncos have back then?
Yeah.
See, so that's what I'm getting at. As a unit, I think they play well together. I just don't think they're elite players. I think they are really good NFL players, and they got multiple of them. And I think that's the issue. And when they bring in even a guy off the bench, you bring in a really good player. But when you match a hard rushing, really good defensive front matched up with a really good secondary, at least your top, 4 or 5 guys in the secondary, I think then that enhances you getting after the passer because, guys aren't open, and then you get to the second and third read and they're not open, and you're like, I got to take this sack.
I think you bringing that up with the Denver Broncos front, there's a few takeaways in there that kind of intersect with some of my more big picture takeaways. The Tennessee Titans have preached all offseason, we're going to pass rush together. I think the Broncos are a good example of what that looks like and it being successful. And so now you kind of wonder, okay, do the Tennessee Titans have the horses and the secondary to pass rush together and get some sacks? Because against this Broncos unit, it's one of the best pass protecting offensive linemen. We also have Bo Nix, who's super athletic, sneaky athletic for some people, but he's athletic. He can run, but he can also scramble. He can also buy himself time, right? Because he's always scanning, looking for the field. But you're going to have to pass rush together. You're going to have to pass rush with discipline together as a unit.
Well, I think a good example is when you watched the Cowboys last night, they did not rush with discipline. Nope. There was 3 different layers of where they were and they weren't aligned. And that's how Hurts kept scrambling up inside of them and then breaking out. they weren't on the same page. They were all at different levels.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's a recipe for disaster.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so
The effort was there, but you got to do it all working together.
Well, when we were talking about Jeffrey Simmons' comments in the locker room, they got blown a little out of proportion. We kind of told you everybody what he's really talking about. He's talking about, hey, we got burned last year by a bunch of quarterbacks in the run game. We know that Bo Nix likes to run. We know that he can scramble, and he's dangerous at it. We got to be in our run fits. You saw that, hey, they weren't disciplined last year in the Cowboys. You saw 9 undesigned quarterback runs by Jalen Hurts, and a lot of them went for first downs or touchdowns.
Kept drives alive.
And it kept drives alive. And this was a very close game. This Dallas defense, other than that, played a pretty good game.
For them, for their yeah.
And for that defense. And I
shut down both of the receivers.
I know. And see, for me, it's like this.
Ooh.
Week 1 is a liar. I don't know if that's the real Dallas Cowboys team you're going to see every week. Right. But that was a Dallas Cowboys team that came out and said, we're not afraid of you.
Yeah. Well,
we know what everybody's saying.
Well, you know the opponent pretty well, too.
Yeah,
and then that's a huge, huge rivalry. So guys are going to play up to a level that and it was funny seeing Adoree out there, too, man. You see that? He was getting toasted, though.
Yeah, he was a prime rib out there.
I was like, come on, Adoree. Come on, man. He eventually started making some plays, but I was like, man, you playing really kind of scared over there.
Yeah. Let's go to Bam real quick and let's talk about the Titans' chances to win, which you can vote on a poll on Twitter over at Blaine and Zach on Twitter. Bam, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Yo, what's good, fellas? Everybody all right?
Yeah, doing good. How are you?
What's going on?
First off, I just want to say we're back, baby. It's been a long year, but we're back.
My. Yes.
I'm leaving for Denver tomorrow.
What? You going to the game?
I am. I'm going to Mile High. I got my boost oxygen. I'm going to suit up if need be. I'm going to be there.
Have you ever been to Denver before?
I have.
I love Denver. It's one of my favorite cities.
It's hard to breathe up there, but yeah, I've been. Once you get, like I said, you get you some oxygen. It is a beautiful city, but you got to be prepared to breathe.
You got your good seat?
Yeah. I played a couple shows in Denver. So I've been a couple times. It is a beautiful city. I just had to go a day earlier to kind of get acclimated to it. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that I was okay. But to your point about, man, look, I know the week one's a liar, but I don't feel like we're gonna go up there and just get bullied. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like we're gonna go up there and get dog walked. But then if we win, it's gonna be that whole. The narrative will be week one is a liar. Mm-hmm. It's going to be everything the Broncos did to lose instead of what the Titans did to win. To me, either way, it's going to be, I'm not going up there with the expectation of, oh man, we're going to come out this, that. But if we win, I'm not going to be expecting the media to be like, oh, Cam Ward was good or this, that. It'll be everything the defense did on the Broncos to lose or what Bo Nix did. I think that's the way it's going to get spent. But I don't think that we're going to go into this with just like, okay, well, we just going to fall over. I just don't feel that way. I don't feel like Cam Ward's attitude is going to be that way to the point to where we just fall apart. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we really got a fighting chance in this. If they fall apart, then, hey, it is what it is. But I don't think he's going in this with the expectation or with the attitude of, I'm not supposed to be here. I think he's going to here with, I'm him, this is my team, and we're going to work.
Yeah. I think you're spot on, Bam. Yeah, I think everything you said is spot on because we've seen that play out so many times about the Titans win a game they shouldn't win. It's all about the other team losing the game.
Yeah, national guys, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I do agree. Like, I don't think these guys are going in saying they can't win this game. They're not looking. They don't care about the stats. They don't care about the radio shows, the TV shows. They don't care about the pick 'em. At least Cam Ward, I know Cam Ward's not. I know a couple of the other players are a little bit more online than they should be, but they don't care. They're going in there thinking they can win the game. And we'll see if that attitude, how far that attitude, if they can walk the walk that backs up the talk that they're talking, and if we'll see if it can actually be that way. Because there were times last year where they kind of talked that way and then they didn't back it up. And we'll see. And that's kind of where I'm at with this whole thing is like there's a path because it is week 1 and it's the NFL. There is a path that the Titans can win. Mm-hmm. But it's hard for the logical brain to sit here and close it off because last year it's the same people who came up with the same weekly game plans, that ran the same practices, that designed the same plays. And I'm not putting the blame on the coaches. The players have to go out there and execute it. I'm just saying, for as much newness there are in players, there's not hardly any newness outside of Bones Fossil on the staff. So I have to see it all come to fruition. I have to see that they're not going to go on 53. They're not going to punt on 53% of their opening drives. I have to see it. It's just, I think that's an okay way to look as to wait and see it at this point.
Well, I mean, I could say this. Every athlete is going to believe that they can win every game. And that'll sound insane. And I'll say that. And I haven't been on a team that was getting blown out like sometimes the Titans did. I was on a 2-14 team. We lost most of those games by 7 or less. Mm-hmm. We felt like we just didn't know how to close.
Yeah.
We never thought that we couldn't win. So I just don't know if athletes kind of believe that, we're not going to be that good and we got a rookie quarterback. He's going to be going through some growing pains. We don't have an elite pass rusher. We don't even have our elite corner. I think guys are going to say this is an opportunity. Everybody's out there competing to showcase what I can do. And it's the beginning of the season. Everybody's healthy. So let's ride out. It's crazy, but I don't think at any point in time throughout a season, even when I was 2-14, that I thought we couldn't win the game. And that sounds insane, but I never did. And
that's also what separates your elite competitors from other players.
I don't know if somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. There was never a time. I'm like, dang it, we right there. We just got to close.
And remember, it only comes down to sometimes games only come down to 3 or 4 plays.
Every time. And, last year was a different year. I mean, some of those games was like, dang, man.
Well, some of those plays just came really early and back to back to back. You know what I'm saying?
Like, whoa, man, this is tough sled here, man. I don't know, man. This is tough. So I think they're going to be a really competitive team, and I think they could surprise some teams. It's just a matter of how quickly do we get there.
Again, it's about
just
limiting.
Like Alec Alamander starting. How quickly can he showcase? What if he comes out there and has 100-yard games? They double Calvin Ridley. Yeah. I don't know that won't happen.
Right.
Then
that changes everything for the game.
Right. See,
something you're not expecting can change everything for the game.
Or Gunnar Ham.
Yeah. You never know. Like
Chig.
Tony Pollard. Yeah. And because, listen, it's this offensive line, right? The way that Greg Cosell talked about it yesterday, and I never really noticed it, he said Denver Broncos love to create one-on-one matchups for the offensive lineman, and because he likes to blitz. So if you have a one-on-one offensive lineman, can you win? If you're an offensive lineman, can you beat the guy across from me? Mm-hmm. Like that's a good way to look at it. Is that all these players, can they just beat the guy across from them and string a couple plays in a row to give yourself momentum? Can Dan Moore, whoever's going to be lined up across him, can Lloyd Cushenberry, who's a little bit of a revenge
You said he only gave up one pressure.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the Titans' offensive line, as far as pass protection, when they have their one-on-ones outside of some blitzes that has nothing to do with them, I think they're going to do well. This is the best. Maybe I'm saying that because this is the best offensive line I've seen in the last 3 years.
Yeah. Oh, easily.
Right. So it can.
I mean, at least since 2020, right? I mean, it's the best offensive line since at least 2020.
I'm like, okay, I think we can match up one-on-one. I think I feel confident now. They just got to do it in games, but I think they can hang.
And if you can hang, that creates opportunities where, your tight end doesn't have to stay in and chip.
Not to run it back.
Because if they're sending 5 and they decide they're going to send 6, well, that means someone's open, more than likely. So there is, I see you smiling, there is a path for them to win.
I see, because I convinced you.
Okay, I've gone from 1% to 2%. But there's a level of physicality that needs to be shown by this offensive line against this Denver defense.
Yeah,
There's a level of physicality that needs to be shown from Elikai Manor. Tony Pollard, level of physicality. All that stuff. If you can if you can at least stay in it, right? Like if most of the
Because imagine if the score is close.
right.
And we're going into the fourth quarter, and let's say the Broncos are up by 3, but we're driving.
Yeah.
Man, all the pressure is on them.
Right.
Not just in that situation,
they're not
even
living
coming
up.
into this game.
They're
Yeah.
not living up to the expectations that their coach
said.
put out there.
That's why I said I would never say
Right?
that.
He put out there, this is a Super Bowl contending team.
I've been around them, I know.
He said that. And that means that is the expectation in the building. So if you can make them doubt their own expectations, it can change everything.
You got them. And all the pressure's on them. Man.
It really is.
You can come out there and play loose, man. You never know. They may
The Titans should be able to play a little bit
They
loose.
may come out there throwing it around the yard, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm comfortable with. We're putting in the hands of our quarterback, Cam. Cam, I am.
Put it in the hands of what we perceive as our best player, right? Because you can't put it in J.C. Latham's hands technically because he's on the offensive line. But they're putting it. They're probably going to lean, especially if what Denver does, what you've heard they may do, and just let Calvin Ridley be Calvin Ridley, not show him respect. That may bite him in the butt.
Yeah.
Now, they'll change pretty quickly.
Quick,
but if you could take advantage of it, right, in that first drive or that second drive, because let me say something. The Broncos they see almost actually to the T, a 50-second difference in time of possession in their wins and losses on offense.
Oh.
So if you can keep the ball, if you're the Tennessee Titans to sustain drives and keep them on the feet off the field, their opposing offense, and tire out the defense, that is the path to victory. But you're going to have to be physical and you're going to have to be efficient. And we haven't seen a Tennessee Titans team that can be both physical and efficient. They got to go out there and be what they want to be.
Yeah. And also, I know all the pressure really for the Titans side of it is because they have a lot of offensive weapons. Is the defense is going to have to play up to par too. This is the first game, and they started off fast last season, so I'm expecting the same thing. They really got after it, and it kind of made you think this defense is going to be elite.
Yeah.
And they didn't have that many elite players, so you knew that wasn't going to be.
And I would say that the Chicago Bears had the worst offensive line, but they had the better pass catchers, and the Titans matched up with them pretty well.
Yep, early on.
But we'll see. Again, Denver's a little bit different, but I think down gone from 1% to 2% to now 3%. You're moving me up.
I can't get you to 5.
Listen, we got the pregame show as well, so we got that. Let's go to Ernie real quick in Nashville. Ernie, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
What's up?
Good afternoon.
I think the path is most likely would be if they underestimate us. If they look at last year's film, then they're going to find us a totally different team. But if they underestimate us, I would say, we could get some big plays and take it to the house 2-3 times. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Ernie. The explosive plays matter. We saw the Tennessee Titans. There was a lot of missed explosive play opportunities last year for whether people not getting to the right spot on time, drop passes, inaccurate passes, all kinds of stuff. But we saw in the preseason, they were really trying to make that connection be a thing. Like whether it's Calvin Ridley or Elikai Manor or Gunnar Helm, they were creating...
Or Van Jefferson.
I forgot about that. He created his own explosive opportunity. And that explosive opportunity, I guess, didn't really matter.
Holding against him on that drive. You're still holding against him.
I am not. They are. They are holding it against him. All right, 615-737-1045. This will be the last call for phone calls when we come back. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone.
It was once said, do all the good you can, by all means you can, in all ways you can, in all the places you can, at all times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can. And that's what owner Aaron Stokes has tried to do for over a quarter century. Hi, folks. This is Blaine Bishop for Eurofix. And Eurofix repairs European vehicles at below dealer pricing. But what sets Eurofix apart isn't just price. It's the deep commitment to quality that keeps you off the tow truck. And Eurofix has clean, welcoming shops where you can actually sit down. Plus a free 15-minute no-rent inspection to share with what's going on. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repair work performed. Rental cars are available with appointment, of course. 5 locations in Nashville, Franklin, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and Mount Juliet. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX or visit them online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
Six one five 737-1045 is the last call for phone calls here on Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. We saw some people call in. We were busy doing some production stuff, so you people that were calling in, call back in and we'll get you on the air. Just real quick, Bill Parcells talked about what he likes to see from a quarterback, and you've said this numerous times, but he put it into this kind of phrasing, is like, don't show me how a quarterback acts when he throws 3 touchdowns and wins a game. Show me how the quarterback acts when he throws 3 interceptions and loses the game, which takes me to Cam Ward, his demeanor. And this is going to be a tough test for Cam Ward. We saw bad quarterback, I guess you would say, mannerisms last year from when poor play happened. We saw, an entire team with poor mannerisms when bad plays happen. How can Cam Ward affect that? That is going to be one of the big takeaways, even in a loss, that you can say, okay, we lost. He may not even played well, but how was his demeanor throughout that whole game?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And well, to add to that, I didn't know you was going to say that, but to add to that, also being encouraging and by his actions too. So when I say encouraging, even when the defenses have a tough day, they maybe drive down or give up a big play. Say, hey man, I got your back. We got you.
Yeah.
And then he goes down and does it. Oh my, you don't know how much that brings belief and hope to not only the fan, but man, the players. Oh my. So that's where I think he is exceptional, and that is with his leadership skills.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes him, really special. So we're going to see. He's going to be tested. So he's going to make some mistakes, but I think he has the fortitude and the mindset to overcome those things because he has the right mindset. So we have to see him do it. So we shall see. Good test right here.
Us asking for phone calls and say we're going to take them, and then old Butterfingers Ross back there hangs up on the first person.
Yeah, that's
calls.
what happened earlier. He
That is
actually
not
hit
true.
the wrong button.
It looked like you did. It looked like you hung up
it was
on
either
him.
Put
him
them
or
both on
Bananas.
hold.
One of the two. Bananas came in there and just wanted to mess with him. I don't know how they were playing games and stuff.
Let's go to Henry, who wants to talk about the Tennessee Titans. Henry, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, what's going on?
Henry?
I know I'm cutting it close. Blaine, I got a birthday request, man. My uncle's birthday is this Sunday coming up, the opening Titans game.
It's the Rams.
His favorite Titans player of all time is you, Blaine Bishop.
Woo! I got that. I'm the only one on the list.
His favorite Titans player, man. He bought mine and his birthday are very close. He bought me tickets to the Patriots game, October 19th, I believe, man. And I wanted to see if I could get linked up with you, man, and get a signed jersey from you.
Oh, absolutely. Just come to the pregame show for the Rams game, and we'll be out there at the stadium. So, yeah, we'll be out there from what time?
Oh, man.
Zach? From like 9
I'll let you know
or so?
when I'm coming, man. Yes, sir.
There you go.
See you out there. Perfect. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you, Henry.
Appreciate it, Henry.
There you go.
Oh, and by the way, if he's not listening, you can send anybody wants to get anything autographed. I do this every Sunday. I do this autograph. I have a P.O. box that I have all fan stuff that goes to all the time. I've never mentioned this because I'm always signing stuff on Sunday. My son be looking at me like, man, what are you doing? I was like, yeah, you see all these cards here? So, yes, P.O. Box 3082. You may want to write this down too, Ross, just in case somebody calls you and asks for it again. P.O. Box 3082, Brentwood, Tennessee 37024.
There you go. All right, let's go to Ted in Murfreesboro. Ted, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Yeah, what about Tajay Spears and his injury?
Well,
he's on IR, short-term IR, so he's going to miss the first 4 games minimum. Now, he can come back after the first 4 games, but he's going to miss the first 4 games minimum. So they're going to be on Julius Chestnut and hopefully Khalil Mullins, but he's questionable as well. So,
do they have any other options on practice squad?
They kept Jordan Mims on the practice squad, I believe is the one guy they kept.
I actually went to high school with Tajay, and I watched him play at Tulane, too. He's a beast.
Yeah, he was explosive. He may have been the most explosive player on the team.
Even though he tore his ACL, it don't matter. Like, he perseveres, like, every time.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
I think that's
Thanks,
why
Ted.
he has so many injuries
That probably is.
because he's playing. I think without an ACL.
Yeah. I will say this: me and you are going to be together for the pregame show on Sunday, so we'll talk more about the run game. But this run game is going to be super important for the Tennessee Titans. Keeps a little bit of balance, keep the ball in the possession, and I hate that Tajay Spears is not going to be part of that equation.
Oh, he was looking, dynamite in training camp. It was like, he is looking different than everybody else, even Pollard.
All right, final go around in fact, actually, Mojo Rojo is going to be here Sunday. So should we wait until Sunday to give our final predictions? Okay, that's what we're going to do. Since Mojo Rojo is going to be here Sunday for the pregame show as well.
Okay.
We're going to wait and give you our predictions on Sunday. Until then, 3HL's coming up next. They got a loaded show for you. They're going to be talking all about the Tennessee Titans game and, of course, the SEC college football weekend. You can give them a call at 615-737-1045 as well. This has been Covered 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 1045 The Zone. The whole crew will see you on Sunday for the Lee Company countdown to kickoff Titans pregame show right here on 1045 The Zone. And in the meantime,
And in between time. Peace.
Sign up.